America's burning. When we woke up this morning, we were greeted with the following names: Fargo, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, LA, Richmond, Salt Lake, Atlanta, Denver, Minneapolis, New York City. What do they all have in common? They were besieged by the rioters last night. All of these cities were under attack. Now there's a debate that I've gotten involved in on the political parties that are in charge of those cities, and if you listen to the conservatives, yes, I'm one, but I'm going to research stuff, well, they're all Democratic bastions. Well, that's not true. Yes, many of them are, but you got a lot of Republican cities that were attacked also, and states. This isn't a political agenda. This is an agenda of anarchy and breaking down the social structure of the United States. That's it, pure and simple. And that's what the debate was discussing. So I made the point that I supported what Keisha Bottoms from Atlanta said. It made common sense. She told those folks, if you want to protest, you can protest. And you do it peacefully, and then go home. And if you don't go home, and you're out after curfew, you're going to pay the price. I don't see a problem with supporting that stance. That's a strong, democratic, black woman speaking common sense and telling the residents of Atlanta, you will abide by the laws. Yet some of my right-wing friends found displeasure that I would stand up for that and had to remind me and try and give me a history lesson that Democrats are bad. Democrats are bad. Yeah, I am so sick of that shit. I understand the Democratic platform. I understand the Republican platform. But I also understand that right now you can take those platforms and just stick them up your ass, because that is not going to resolve the current war that is being waged in the streets from sea to shining sea. And if you think it is, you are sadly mistaken. Now, yeah, you've got the top politicians like Waltz of Minnesota, Cuomo of New York. You throw de Blasio in there, which I don't know what the hell that guy's thinking. Tell the police to go with a lighter hand. You tell them that when they burn down Wall Street's buildings. And then you got this Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, and she comes out with the most horrid tweet. Y'all want to bitch about what Trump says? Well, I will code what I really want to say to Donald Trump. It's 2 words. It begins with F and it ends with U. Yeah, remember, this is the same gal that had to go see her hairstylist during the COVID while everyone was locked down because she's in the public eye and she needs to look good. Well, she needs to be thrown the hell out of office for that crap. And I'm not going to get into Trump's tweets because I've already covered that in previous videos, and I did it before he signed that. In fact, I did one the day before he signed that executive order. I mean, Donald, that shit's got to stop. You aren't helping anyone. And your daughters and your sons and your son-in-laws and your wife, they need to just take it away and get rid of it. But I don't want to get off point. So the protesters, and I saw that interview with Jack in Minnesota yesterday when they had Jamie Foxx and I think it was the football player Jackson and their little female activist, and they're saying, basically, we got no more tears, so we're going to take what's ours. You're going to take what's yours. So I guess destroying your neighborhoods, because that little, the black gal, she was all excited. She didn't care if the neighborhood burned. She didn't care if businesses were destroyed, if people's lives were ruined, because in her mind, well, it's all fair game. So go ahead, burn down Minneapolis. Where are your people going to go to work if you burn all the businesses down? Did you think about that? Or do you care? Well, by your words and your actions yesterday, you really don't care. And then you throw in the media into this mix. CNN is just making this a big race baiting deal. I watched John King this morning with his, quote, panel of experts. They basically shrugged off all this devastation. And yeah, now they're starting to blame Trump. I knew it wouldn't take long. Even though the governors of many of these states and the mayors and the police commissioners have failed miserably. But that's okay. Let's blame it on Trump. And I won't give Fox a pass. I tried to listen to them this morning. They just come across as like the majority of the news anymore, just a bunch of bobbleheads, especially the one gal that was like, well, I just don't understand this. I don't know what's causing it. Well, yet these reporters want to tell us what they've done, and I don't care what show you watch. Well, you've covered war zones, and you've covered riots, and you've covered civil unrest, and you've done this, and you've done that. And then you listen to them talk on their reporting, and it's like, none of you know what you're talking about. So, I think the best thing we can do, just shut them down, give them an hour a day, and I don't care which network is, and in that hour, maybe you could try giving us the facts as they are, not your spin, not your opinion, not your ideals. Give the viewers the facts, and you know something? We just might be able to make up our mind on our own. But since the CNN seems to be downplaying this, who's going to pay for all this damage? Who's going to pay for that? The destroyed police cars? The burnt precinct? There's no rainy day fund for these items. That comes out of a city budget, and the budget comes off of the money collected from the taxpayers, you dumbasses. So for those of you who are destroying these cities and then leave, the people in those cities need to form their own group, get in line with the police, and help them push these hoods, thieves, thugs, terrorists out of town. Look at it as a posse, and you're going to get deputized and helped to keep your city safe. Ponder that. And then on another feed, people said Trump needs to say something about this. And the people saying that are also people that say they don't give a damn what he says and they can't stand to listen to him anyway, because they were complaining about, well, he's at Cape Canaveral and the space launch was more important than what's going on. Have you ever heard of Air Force One, which is one of the most sophisticated communication networks in the world? And one gal she had the same comments that, well, where is he? And then her last word was fail. That's how she ended her statement. Fail. Even though Marine One landed back in Washington, D.C. last night, I guess she thought he was down at Mar-a-Lago and having a cold one. That's right, he doesn't drink. But this just amazed me. It's like, he gets more information than any person in the world on a minute-by-minute basis. You think he isn't talking to the governors? The governors have called him, Minnesota did, for assistance from the security detail of the 10th Mountain Division. But it wasn't okay for him and the vice president to go down to Cape Canaveral and watch the first American United States public-private joint venture manned spaceflight in 9 years. He can't be in attendance for that historic occasion. He has been dealing with the COVID virus since February. He's been dealing with these riots since since Wednesday, and talking to the governors that want help. He has said he will give it, whatever you need. And then another argument that I heard was, well, they're angry. I understand that people are incensed, infuriated, and angry over the death of George Lloyd. No one can justify it. There's no reason for that man to be dead. And he has been, the officer has been arrested. But you want Trump to say something. He had a press conference and addressed this, but that wasn't good enough. And sadly, my friends and associates on the left, one day they want him to do something. Then they don't want him to do it. Then he doesn't do enough. Then he did too much. You guys don't like him, and I get that. But when you can't make up your own minds on what you want, what do you want other than a different president? Then we've got the social gathering issue, and this popped up the other day. Apparently, at Lake of the Ozarks, they have identified one person has COVID. And now they're trying to get the word out to all those people that were there for Memorial Day weekend. And the folks that were posting this We're saying how that stupid is as stupid does, because all those kids and adults, yes, there were adults there too, got together for Memorial Day and that they were going to get what they deserve. Yet, you don't see those same people raising 9 kinds of holy hell when you have 2,000 to 3,000 people gathering in these mass riots, definitely ignoring social distancing. So once again, which side of the fence are you going to be on? I don't see hardly any of them condemning what's going on. This has got to stop. If the governors of these states can't get this situation under control, if the National Guard, the state police, and the local law enforcement can't get law and order back on track, we got 2 options. One is martial law and one is military law. You don't want either one of those to be enacted. Look them up, because there is a big difference. Do you really want United States soldiers, Army, Marine, Air Force, patrolling your streets? You think about that. Because they aren't going to care what political party you are a member of. Do you think our soldiers in World War II that fought in Europe asked the Germans if they were a member of the Nazi Party or not? Because yes, there were plenty of soldiers, including officers, that were not a member of the party. The answer would be no. They were Germans. That's all that mattered. If the military takes to the streets, they aren't going to take it easy. They will have a mission, and that mission will be to restore law and order. And this is not what we want to occur in the United States. Because by God, if we can't come together and agree that this violence ends, the country we love is going to become Nero's Rome. You think about that.